When did you manage to protect your family in the most unexpected way? Mom died on a rainy Thursday. Stroke, quiet, done. I was 17, Dad 68, and the house forgot how to sing for 3 years. Then Carol shows up. Heels, highlights, laugh track on repeat. She brings gluten-free muffins, stocks my favorite sugary cereal, calls me hun. I want a reason to hate her, but she's handing me none. Yet. One afternoon, Carol comes storming inside, pointing a perfectly manicured finger at me. There's a fresh dent in my car, and I know you did it. She turns to Dad, her voice dripping with fake concern. Honey, he's been acting out. First it was the cash missing from your wallet. Now this. He's just not been the same. Dad, looking tired and worried, starts watching me differently. The accusations pile up. Broken sprinklers, a lost watch, anything she can pin on me. She's building a case and Dad's starting to buy it. Her plan is about to work. Dad's treating me with a cold suspicion I've never felt before. Carol, thinking she's won, finds me in the kitchen alone. She leans in, her smile sharp as a knife. It's over, she whispers, enjoying every second. He thinks you're an irresponsible little brat who can't be trusted. I already had him sign new papers that put everything in my name. Your mom's trust fund? Mine. When he croaks, you get nothing. I feel my thumb press the record button on the phone in my pocket. I just look at her, she laughs. What, you think he'll believe you? I've one. Dad gets home an hour later. Carol flits around him with chamomile tea like we're on a cooking show. I walk right up to him. Dad, you need to hear this. I hit play. The audio rolls, her bragging, the casual cruelty, her whole plan to ditch me and take everything. His face shifts from confused to carved stone. Dad raises one finger. Carol, is that really you? She starts spinning a web of lies, but it's useless. Her own voice hangs in the air between us. His voice drops to a whisper that somehow fills the room. Pack. 30 minutes, security cams catch the meltdown. Carol shrieking lawsuits, Dad rekeying locks in real time, me slurping coffee like it's just another Tuesday. By dawn, the estate lawyer freezes joint accounts with an emergency injunction. By noon, her name vanishes from every credit card. She rides off in a stranger's backseat with 2 bags and a face that'll live in my memory forever. Half fury, half math she can't do. Last rumor, she's couch surfing 2 states away, posting inspirational sunsets no one double taps. Dad and I sit on the porch that night, quiet enough to hear the crickets negotiate. Finally, he says, your mom would have loved how you handled this. My former friend exposed my secrets I trusted him with, so I exposed who ran over his girlfriend's cat. My best friend and I had been inseparable for 10 years. We used to play Counter-Strike and got so good, we actually made it to the tournament with a grand prize $10,000. At the final moment, I panicked and sold Key Round, which led to our failure. I apologized countless times, and besides him saying it's okay, our relationship was never the same. Then on random Tuesday, I went inside to get a drink, and when I came back, everyone was staring at me. Someone made a joke about my private social media account, to which only he had access, and the whole group started laughing. There he was, standing on a cooler, using my secrets as his punchlines. I tried to laugh along, but I was humiliated. The next morning, screenshots of our private conversations were being passed around in group chats. My deepest anxieties had become a joke for everyone to see. 2 weeks later, I was helping his girlfriend Kayla move a dresser. Her mom asked if we had seen her cat, Muffin. We looked everywhere. As I walked past my friend's Jeep, I saw a tuft of white fur stuck in the bumper. My heart sank. He had always joked that the cat was annoying, but I never thought he would actually hurt it. Kayla was outside crying and getting ready to make missing cat flyers. I had 2 choices, stay silent and live with the guilt, or speak up and blow everything apart. Thinking about how he had exposed me, I knew what I had to do. During a game night at our friend Liv's apartment, I decided to act. In the middle of a video game, I dimmed the lights and played a video on the TV for everyone to see. It was from Kayla's doorbell camera. The footage showed his Jeep backing up, a clear thud, and then him getting out to put the cat in a trash bag before nervously looking at the camera. The room went completely quiet. Kayla gasped. He tried to defend himself, saying the cat ran under the tire, but the video showed him accelerating. I looked at him and said, secrets suck, huh? I didn't have to say another word. Everyone started pulling out their phones. By the next morning, he was blocked by everyone. Kayla now has 2 rescue kittens. She sold his gaming console and donated the $1,200 to an animal shelter. He ended up quitting his job and moving out of town. Soon after, my inbox was full of messages. It turned out that many of our friends had also had their secrets exposed by him. A few of us formed a new, smaller friend group. Do I feel guilty? A little. But mostly I just feel relieved. Do you think my revenge was fair, or did I go too far? Let me know your opinion in the comments. I always thought our family was poor, until my dad left his laptop open. Growing up, the phrase, we can't afford it, was something I heard constantly. It felt like all I ever heard. It meant I was the kid who always had to say no to school ski trips, watching my friends leave with their new gear while I stayed behind. It meant wearing generic, no-name sneakers that fell apart in months, while everyone else was excited about the latest brands. Our groceries came from discount stores, and my mom was an expert at making a single casserole last for 3 nights. A skill she acted proud of, saying it was what you do when money is tight. My parents were masters at putting on a show, constantly making me feel the heavy weight of being poor. A poverty that, it turns out, wasn't even real. But even the most careful lie starts to fall apart. I'd catch glimpses of things that didn't fit with their story about having no money. A designer handbag with a gleaming logo tucked away in the back of my mom's closet, quickly hidden if I saw it. A sleek, expensive-looking watch on my dad's wrist, which he'd laugh off as a cheap knockoff from a street vendor if I looked too long. When I'd ask, even innocently, their moods would sour. They'd get defensive, accusing me of being ungrateful or materialistic. Their reactions were so extreme that I learned it was easier to say nothing. I stopped questioning and simply accepted the lie I was living in. One day when I was 16, my dad left his laptop open. A bank notification for a transfer of several $1,000s caught my eye. Behind it was his personal banking portal, displaying a six-figure balance. My hands shook as I saw a folder on his desktop. Grandma's estate. My parents had told me she left just enough for her funeral. With a click, I opened her will. She had left her entire estate in a trust for me, to be managed by my parents. Then I found the spreadsheet where they tracked their spending of my money. A luxury Caribbean cruise, a down payment on a sports car, designer jewelry. Every no they ever said to me was a lie. When my dad walked back in, I just turned the laptop to face him. Their excuses were pathetic. They claimed they were protecting me from the money, that they deserved it. I saw them for who they really were. I told them I had pictures of everything and would be contacting a lawyer the day I turned 18. For the next 2 years, I lived with a friend's family, finished high school, and worked. On my 18th birthday, I did exactly what I promised. The legal battle was ugly, but the evidence was overwhelming, and I secured what was left of my trust. I used that money to get a degree in finance and built an honest, stable life for myself. Years later, my father called. Their reckless spending had caught up with them. They were bankrupt and losing their house. He asked me for money. I thought about the years of fake poverty and the resilient person I was forced to become. I told him no. Family doesn't steal from their children and call it love. Hanging up the phone, I didn't feel anger, just a quiet sense of closure. They taught me a valuable lesson. Self-reliance is priceless, and trust, once it's truly broken, can never be bought back. What would you have done in my shoes? Let me know in the comments below. Mike made my life a living hell back in school. Now he is begging for my help. What would you do if the person who made your school years a living hell showed up asking for a favor? For me, that person was Mike. He was the reason I ate lunch alone in the library for a year. He systematically turned my only friends against me, whispering lies that I was saying terrible things about them. I couldn't even walk past him without a comment about my appearance. Eventually, I got used to enter and exit school building by a back door and don't stand out to catch his attention. He seemed to genuinely enjoy the fear he created. That kind of thing leaves scars, deep ones that don't just fade. Childhood bullying is a trauma that echoes into your adult life, causing things like anxiety, depression, and a feeling of worthlessness. For years, I battled the messages he drilled into my head. And even though I built a good life for myself, the ghost of that scared kid he created in the hallway, he never really went away. Years passed, I built a good life and had filed Mike away as a bad memory. But then my phone buzzed, a message from him. After 2 decades, Mike was in a desperate situation. He was just a regular worker, a husband and a father, but his young daughter was desperately sick. She had a rare condition, and her doctors told him there was only one person with the skill to perform the life-saving surgery she needed: me. I knew that in this situation it wasn't about him, but about his daughter. But still, I felt just pure, cold anger. For a second, I thought about taking a vacation and calling it an unfortunate moment when I couldn't physically do it, just to see him break. But then I snapped back to reality. I accepted on one condition. First, we had to meet in person. We met at a quiet coffee shop. The cocky, arrogant bully I remembered was gone. In his place was a humbled, defeated man who could barely meet my eye. He laid it all out, a story of how his life became a nightmare after his girl was diagnosed. Then I asked the question I'd been waiting 20 years to ask. Do you remember what you were like back then? He flinched. For the first time, he looked me right in the eye and said he did. He explained, without making excuses, that a toxic home life made him feel powerful only when he was making others feel small. He told me how much he regretted the person he used to be and that he'd spent years trying to be a better man. Listening to him, the rage I expected to feel was gone. In its place, there was just clarity. I decided to perform the surgery. It was long and incredibly complex, but it was a success. Seeing Mike's daughter open her eyes, knowing she had a future, was a profound moment. The relief in his face was overwhelming, but I soon realized the relief was mine too. In the weeks that followed, our conversation shifted from her recovery to our own lives. We met for coffee again, but this time as 2 middle-aged men, not a victim and a bully. We discovered a shared love for old movies and a similar sense of humor. Last weekend, he and his family came over for a barbecue. Watching his daughter, healthy and vibrant, run through my yard while Mike and I argued over grilling techniques felt surreal. The ghosts of the past were finally silent, replaced by the unexpected sound of friendship.
My friend uninvited me from his wedding because I gained confidence. Imagine your best friend of 20 years going radio silent 4 days before his wedding, just because the confidence he said he wanted for you finally showed up. We met in kindergarten, united by Lego sets. By middle school, we passed a secret notebook between classes, every page ending with BFFL. High school graduation, first heartbreaks, first jobs, He was the background track to my life's highlight reel. We were a 2-for-1 deal. If you knew me, you knew him. Our future kids were supposed to call the other uncle. 3 years ago, I started therapy for burnout. It was a boot camp in setting boundaries and learning to say no. I quit the job that caused panic attacks, stopped hiding in baggy clothes, and walked into brunch with my head held high. He scanned my new look. "Well, someone thinks they're the main character now," he said. I laughed, but his smile was cold. His comments became background noise. "Confident people are exhausting." He sent group pics where I was conveniently blurred. When I shared a win, he'd pivot to his wedding stress. I chalked it up to groom stress, threw his bachelor party, lettered the place cards, and listened to him vent, wondering the whole time why my glow-up felt like a crime. 4 days before the wedding, an email. "I think it's better if you don't come." No context. My calls and texts went unanswered. I drove to the venue anyway, needing an explanation. He saw me, whispered to his coordinator, and a security guard escorted me out. That walk across the parking lot was the longest mile I've ever walked in sneakers. I spent the weekend numb, replaying our memories. The answer hit while scrolling old pictures. Our friendship cracked the moment my spine straightened. My confidence wasn't louder clothes. It was the quiet refusal to shrink. He needed the old me, and therapy had retired that person. Mutual friends ghosted or gave empty platitudes about wedding stress. I grieved the friendship like a death, because that's what it was. The day I discovered my best friend's lie. It's 2:17 a.m. and my heart's basically crowd surfing inside my chest. One text, meant for her second phone, lands in the group chat. "Make sure he doesn't find the lease. He still thinks you're crashing for free." He is me. 10 years of best friend badges, 0 rent, and that crooked grin that said, "I got you, dude." Turns out the only thing she was holding was my credit card limit. Freshman orientation, cafeteria mystery pizza, 2 terrified kids. Boom. Instant friendship. For the next decade, we raided each other's closets, traded secrets like baseball cards, and kept an emergency Twix between the couch cushions. Every single Sunday, we parked on that same couch, coffees balanced on our knees, doing absolutely nothing and somehow everything. We pinky swore at 21, no secrets, ever. I believed it the way you believe Wi-Fi, always there, invisible, until it drops. Flash forward 4 months. She's between places, so my sofa's her HQ. I don't ask for money. She's broke, I get it. Except oat milk lattes keep appearing and the $14 vegan cheese multiplies like gremlins. My spare key migrates 3 inches every day, tiny, itchy stuff. Then Friday night, I'm editing late, her phone's on the charger, and a rogue text buzzes. "Lease? What lease?" Curiosity is just panic with lipstick. I open the laptop she borrowed last week, still logged in. One folder, New Start, holds a signed sublease agreement dated the day she moved in. My address listed as her secondary crash pad, rent $1,850, security deposit already paid, by me because I'd spot her moving fees. My stomach free falls like a busted elevator. I scroll, payments to a storage unit across town, screenshots of my Venmo, even a selfie with my landlord. A whole second life, itemized. I wake her with the lease in her face. No plan, just pure adrenaline. She reads one line, eyes balloon, then slam shut like broken garage doors. "I can explain," she croaks. Plot twist. There was another guy, another couch, another savior. She double booked us like cheap flights. Whoever offered comfort first won. She hid the lease because she didn't want to hurt me. Translation, didn't want to pay. 10 years and I'm the discounted option. She packs in 30 minutes, stuffing vegan cheese into reusable totes. No apology, just tears that look legit until she asks, "Can I still grab mail here?" I lock the door, stare at the couch dent shaped like her butt, and the silence tastes like a penny. Sundays now echo without coffee steam or messy gossip. Losing a best friend is phantom limb pain. You reach to share a meme and remember the arm is gone. I'm angry, sure, but mostly stunned. How do you invoice someone for trust? How do you control Z 10 years of inside jokes? I rerun every unpaid bill, every "I'm good for it," and feel like the sidekick in my own show. Brutal truth. I let it happen. I swapped kindness for boundaries and generosity for self-worth. So the pinky swear is officially retired. New rule. Trust, but verify the lease. 10 years don't come with a refund, but future Sundays are mine. Coffee included, honesty required, vegan cheese strictly banned. Today, I fucked up by mixing up texts between my boss and my wife. My phone buzzes on my desk. The screen lights up with a message. "Looking forward to cuddle time tonight, champ." I blink, my brain stalling as it tries to process the words against the sender's name. That message isn't from my wife. It's from Ms. Carter, my boss. It was a typical Tuesday of spreadsheets and humming computers. My wife Jess is my lifeline, constantly sending sweet texts that get me through the day. Around mid-morning, one pops up from her. "Jess, dinner tonight? Thinking about that Italian place." I smiled and quickly typed back, my thumbs on autopilot. Me. "Can't wait for cuddle time later." I hit send without a second thought and turned back to my expense reports. A few minutes pass. No reply from Jess, which is unusual. Then, a different buzz. The formal work chat. I open the app and my blood runs cold. There it was. My intimate message, meant for my wife, glowing in the general team channel for the entire department to see. Right below a conversation about Q4 projections. A new message appeared beneath it. Ms. Carter. "Interesting change of tone, Daniel." There was no delete option. My words were preserved in the company's digital records forever. My mind flashed through a montage of getting fired, the HR meeting, my badge being deactivated, packing my desk plant in a box. My fingers trembled as I typed and deleted a dozen pathetic apologies, finally settling on the blandest one. Me. Wrong chat. Total accident. My sincere apologies. I stared at the screen as the 3 little dots appeared while Ms. Carter was typing. It felt like an eternity. Ms. Carter. No worries. Let's keep it professional. The wink. That single, terrifying winking emoji. It didn't feel like forgiveness. It felt like she now owned a small piece of my soul. The office became a minefield of stares and stifled giggles. Every trip to the printer was a walk of shame. Later that day, Ms. Carter strolled past my desk and asked, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Need a blanket for cuddle time, Daniel?" The room erupted in laughter. I felt my face flush crimson. An hour later, a calendar invite materialized in my inbox. The subject line, performance and personal boundaries. My stomach dropped. When I got home and confessed, my wife Jess thought it was the pinnacle of comedy, tears of laughter streaming down her face. Now her support is just relentless mockery. She put sticky notes in my lunch bag saying, "Tell your work wife hi from me," and has started calling Ms. Carter my cuddle boss. I laugh along with her because if I stop for even a second, I'm pretty sure I'll start to cry. That's how a few words traded my professional dignity for a lifetime of office shame. Have you ever sent a text to the absolute wrong person? A message so mortifying it made you want to disappear? Drop your own horror story in the comments below. What's your "nobody believes me but it happened" work story? I used to work night security at a downtown hospital. One night at 3 a.m. I'm doing rounds on the pediatric floor. It's been empty for years, but I hear a kid crying. I follow the sound to room 712. Door's locked, but the crying is so clear it makes my skin crawl. I unlock it. Room's totally empty, just dust and old paint. The crying stops. I radio my supervisor and he checks the cameras. Footage shows me walking the hall, but there's no audio, no crying. But here's the part that still gives me chills. When I play back my own radio recording, you can hear the crying clear as day. My supervisor listens, goes pale, and tells me to never go back to that floor alone. Turns out that room was where they kept terminal kids before the new wing opened. Nobody at work believes me, but I know what I heard. I closed up at a 24-hour diner off the highway. One night, after locking up, I hear the coffee machine start brewing by itself. I check. No one's there. Machine's unplugged, but it's pouring hot coffee. I dump the pot, unplug it again, and go back to cleaning. 5 minutes later, I hear it start up again. This time, there's a fresh cup waiting, steam rising. I record it on my phone, but when I show my manager, the video's just static. Security footage shows me staring at an empty counter. The next morning, I find a note in my locker. "Thanks for the coffee, Jay." I ask around, and the only Jay who ever worked there died in a car crash 5 years ago. Everyone says I was just tired and imagining things, but I still have that note, and I know what I saw. Ever had something happen at work that nobody believed? Drop your story in the comments. Follow for more real stories that'll make you question reality.